Welcome, everyone, to another exciting episode of Wellness Way Energetics. And today we are going to be talking about and exploring clutter. So, our topic today is from clutter to calm. When you let go of stuff, you are able to transform your life, transform your business, create an energetic space that you can be and create your own little sanctuary within your home or your business. And in this fast-paced world, if you haven't noticed, it feels like time's getting faster and faster. We just tend to accumulate stuff. We either get it, buy it, it's given to us, and then we put it somewhere or we drop it and it just stays there. So we're going to show you tools and techniques and tips today to be able to reduce that clutter and create that sanctuary, that not only an outer sanctuary, but an inner sanctuary as well, so that you can reduce your anxiety, reduce all of that stuff going on in your brain. We'll explore that incredible value of decluttering and having a streamlined environment. And plus, we are going to give you some strategies. So this is an action-packed episode today. So let's get started.
I'm Susan Flerchinger from Form to Soar. In my world, miracles don't just happen, they are engineered. I'm a 21-year software engineer turned energy healer. I can apply that precision, intuition, and angelic guidance to clear deep-rooted blocks, rewire energy for healing and miracles. And my real goal is to help get that inner alignment to unlock your brilliance, amplify your leadership, and create sustainable success with the clarity and the energy to flow. Jennifer?
My name is Jennifer Farrar. So I have a question for you. Do you have obstacles in your life to creating what you want, what you desire? We all do. That's a trick question. I help you, like Susan, I help you reduce, remove all of those obstacles, whether they be mental, physical, emotional, spiritual. I help you release those traumas and shift your limiting beliefs that tell you I can't have, I can't be, I'm not good enough. All of that stuff that tells us no. And I'm telling you, change can be fast and it can be easy. And I'm telling you, yes, you can have, you can be, you can do, you can create. And I help you do that. How cool is that?
Awesome.
So I love what we do.
Yes, me too.
We can talk about that forever. But today we're just going to give you a little recap of our last episode, the reticular activating system. And that kind of goes hand in hand with decluttering. It doesn't sound like it would, but what we talked about last time, your reticular activating system will bring to you what you focus on. And if you focus on your clutter, guess what you're going to get more of? Your clutter. So what the reticular activating system does is it amplifies and tells you what to look for. It filters out all of that stuff and it tells you what to look for. And that's what we're going to do today. We're going to help you physically filter out the stuff so that your brain doesn't have to work that hard.
It's a process of systematically going through your possessions, removing items that are no longer serving you. It's about creating space physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Because when you can let go of the things that again don't serve you and the excess that we have in our lives, you have space to really flow and move physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. And it's not just about tidying up. There's a lot of mindfulness associated with this that adds the value to your life and your environment. So it's very conscious what you're doing. So when you engage in this decluttering, you're not only organizing your physical space, but you're setting the stage for greater clarity, peace of mind.
So why is decluttering important in the context of wellness? And first of all, Less clutter, less stress. Very simple. It's clutter is like a visual noise instead of an auditory noise, unless you have all sorts of other things that make noise. Every time you piles of paper, clothes, random stuff, your brain goes into overdrive to process it all. It's trying to put it into files. And I'm going to just give you an example. It's like my mother, we've talked about her before. I love her dearly. She was a hoarder, and she just, for some reason, just printed out every single website she went to. And we had stacks and stacks of paper. And when I went into her office, my brain just did this. It was like, does not compute. And the mental fatigue led to physical fatigue because I was just not able to handle it. Eventually I tackled it, but it was tough. So you don't even realize how much the visual will affect the physical. The other thing is you save time. How often do you look for things you're like, oh, I put that somewhere. Where did I put it? And then you spend the day or hours or days looking for something. And if you didn't have the clutter, you would be able to go exactly where you put it and know exactly where it's at. So it's a time save. So Susan, what else?
Saves you money. This is one that I have noticed, and been doing lists, writing down lists of things to get when they run out, because when you have things all over the place, you really do end up getting or buying duplicates. It's like, hey, I'm in the store. It's like, I know I need a stapler because I've got a bunch of stuff that I've got to manage, get contained. But, oh, I already had one of those. I just couldn't find it. Clothes. How many black shirts do you really need? But decluttering really does help you keep track of what you already own.
Can I tell you something? I just did
Yeah.
exactly this. I was doing taxes and I'm like, I need file folders. And so I went out and bought a box of file folders. And then I went to my home office and went, I have 2 boxes of file folders. I
Yes.
already have file folders. So
Yes.
I just wasted that money. Will eventually use them, but I didn't need
For
them.
a while. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So now I have thousands of file folders. Thousands.
Ah. One other thing, and this is probably one that helps me the most, is when you have a clean space, you really do feel more in control. You're more organized, you have a sense of calm and control. It's like telling your brain, okay, I've got this, because it's not being bombarded with that stuff that's all around. And that feeling of that calm really can spill into other parts of your life, no matter whatever area you cleaned out, it can spill into your work, your relationships, your finances when you have that calm and control going on. So it really does make a difference in so many areas when you can tackle that.
Your space reflects your life. So if you have a chaotic space, if your home or your office is just full of stuff that you don't need and don't even want anymore, chances are other parts of your life are mirroring that. And by eliminating the clutter and eliminating the stuff, it makes other parts of your life easier to handle. And the other thing is you make, and this is the most important thing, I think, is that you make room for growth. You make room for you to be able to create anything else in your life. Because if you have so much stuff just all over the place, you feel like things are coming down on you, and it's very difficult to create something new. So it's
Mhm.
very important, if you want to manifest, to clear your
Yes.
clutter first, because that allows space for other cool things to come into your life. What's the legacy of clutter? Talk to me about that.
Something that happened in my family, and I think probably most, when my husband's parents, his mother passed, we had to go through her house. And she didn't want to go through it. She didn't want to really let us clean things out that she knew that she had never used for 10-ish years, but she couldn't go through that herself, even though we were going to help her. but instead, once she passed, they had five garage shops, the house. It was just so much material that we all had to go through and manage and figure out what to do with, again, some of these techniques we're going to be teaching. But it made us think when we came back to our own home, it's, hey, what do you want to leave for the kids, for other people to take care of, that this is nothing that you're using or ever going to use. So take care of it now, because it will it will be a burden for someone at some point. And if you can start tackling it yourself, that's so much easier, because other people don't care or even know what to do with some of this stuff, but you can make your space just the way that we had talked. You can clear that space out, and it truly does make a difference. So yeah, as we are going through our little bit later ages, we are very consciously going through this decluttering process as quickly as possible, especially areas that the basement you tend to not get to, or at least we didn't get to until the kids moved out. And it's like, it's a great motivator of what to think about when
Absolutely.
you're in that process.
When my parents passed away, like my mom passed away, and then a year later my stepdad passed away, and I was tasked with cleaning out her hoarder house. And she had, other than the stacks of paper, she had mail from 15 years ago and other things that I'm sure she didn't want anyone to look at. And so that's a great thing to do as well. And I keep coming to the word compassion. I have so much compassion for my mom and her wounds, and that created the whole thing about I have to keep all this stuff. And I look at my house now and do the same thing, or very similar. I'm not quite a hoarder, but I'm looking at some of the things in my house going, I don't want that. If someone else can benefit from it, then yeah. So it's really being compassionate to either your kids or your siblings who are going to
Or
have to clean out
yourself.
your house. Yeah, exactly. And just think about after you're gone, because none of us get out of here alive. And what do you want your children or your siblings or your spouse to have to handle? And that to me is really my legacy. I don't want to have my husband who tells me, I hope I go before you because I don't know if I could handle life
Oh.
without you. And I'm like, oh, that hurts my heart and warms my heart at the same time. What's your legacy? I really like that part of this episode because it really makes you stop and think about what's going to happen after you're gone and what are you leaving to your family members. Really.
And I might just add one more piece. Legacy isn't just about what you're going to leave. It's about how you're going to live your life now.
Yeah.
And part of that, and you said it, the growth and the space to be able to live the life that is a legacy, that is uplifting, that is life-giving. And clutter takes away that energy of that life-givingness. And so I want us all to live the legacy that we want to live now. And by doing some of these techniques that we're going to teach you, it really puts you in a position to have that space and that growth and that ease to do what is best for you to do.
Exactly. And that leads into, I'm so glad you talked about that because that leads into clutter and the energy of flow.
Mhm.
And we've talked about this before. Clutter can disrupt the flow of energy in your house. Do you walk in and ugh, and then have to walk around certain things? And like in my mom's house, we had a path, literally just one path from the door to the back bedrooms and to the bathroom, and then one path to the kitchen. And the energy just was so stagnant and no energy could flow. And when we actually cleaned out the house, and my sister Anne and I walked through the house and went, oh, wow, there's actually so much space in here. that we didn't realize
Mhm.
was gone. And
Mhm.
the energy could flow, and you could feel it just walking into the back bedrooms. Oh, it felt so light. It felt so airy, and we're like, oh, we can create a sanctuary in here. How cool is that?
Oh, so much more to talk about that, but I'm going to start with clutter and the mind. Part of that energetic piece is clutter creates this constant, almost a low-grade stress. You might even say I've gotten used to it. Your brain actually has not. It's still processing everything that it visually sees. That can lead to fatigue making decisions. When things are stressed in your mind and your decision making, you're exhausted trying to make decisions because that energy of clutter is exhausting. It's hard to focus. Some people even will feel guilty or shame over the having that clutter there and being able to get rid of that clutter. And we're going to talk about that in more detail because it is a emotional response to what's there.
Absolutely.
I've actually had a couple of clients that have had this situation where they have a lot of clutter in their space. And so whenever we do our sessions, that always comes up. It's okay. I'm having a hard time just managing this health challenge because I've got all this stuff on my desk and I have all this and it's spilled over and it's on the floor and had to have boxes in the hallway. And we can't even get to the flow of being able to take care of the physical challenges because that is just causing anxiety and overwhelm that we haven't been able to get past. So some of our sessions were really, how do we clean out and clear this so that we
Mm-hmm.
can address the physical issues that are going on. And literally, the more clutter you have, your brain says, puts you in fight or flight mode, that I'm gonna run. It's exhausting. I am emotionally and physically drained. And it's more impactful than we would ever think. And so that's
Yep.
why we kind of put this episode a little bit earlier on in our episodes because it has such an impact when you can actually do this decluttering and allow yourself to move that from that clutter to calm.
The next topic is why people hold on to clutter. And
Mhm.
Susan said guilt. Oh, but that was a gift. My mom gave that to me, or my dad gave that to me, or someone close to me gave that to me. I can't get rid of it. What if they come over or they ask about it? And I don't have it anymore and I gave it away or I took it to charity. And so that guilt of what if is very strong. The next one is fear. What if I need it someday? And usually it's, oh, I got rid of that a couple of years ago and gosh, I could use it now. And even though it might have only been, I could use it for 5 minutes, but now I have to go out and get another one or whatever it is. That's not really a good reason to keep something for years and years and years and years. That's taking up energetic space. And identity is another one. So this is a tough one because all of these, we're making it sound easy, but it's really not because all of these are complex reasons why we hold on to clutter, why we hold on to stuff. And one of them is this represents who I was. I have my high school, not only do I have my yearbooks, that's not a big deal, but I have my Letterman's jacket. And I haven't looked at it or worn it in 40 years. Do I really need it anymore? Because it represented a good time in my life. And I still have all of the medals and things like that and the letter. And I'm like, I don't really need this. The other reason is this is who I want to be. This represents who I want to be. So I'm going to hold on to it, even though I'm not making steps to create who I really want to be. That doesn't help you. And this is a number one thing is grief. Letting go of something feels like letting go of a person. It's the memory wrapped up in the item. And that was hard when we were cleaning out my parents' house. And then when we were cleaning out my in-laws' house, same thing, same. And we really had to stop and think and examine our emotions around an object, every single thing in my parents' house, other than the trash and the clutter. But we let go of a lot of things. My mom was an artist, so we kept her art, but we didn't keep her clothes. We didn't keep anything else. And we were able to donate and all of her clothes, her coats, all of that. And it went to awesome people who couldn't afford clothes, who couldn't afford winter coats. Looking at that grief, being able to donate that kind of things, and even small household items like a mixer or something, there are charities who will take that, helped shift the grief from grief to gratitude.
I know when my kids were moving out of the house and we were going through their rooms, I actually wanted to keep more of their things around from when they were little, and the drawings and the awards, that, all of those things than they wanted to. Because, and I think that's maybe more of a generational thing.
Yep.
With the millennials, aren't they're more minimalistic. They don't want our things. They don't necessarily want even their things, because those are memories that while they might be good times, they're not required of themselves to hold on to those. And so I had to give them permission to go through and get rid of whatever they wanted to get rid of, and me not looking over going, oh, are you sure you want that? Because that is what
Yep.
happens. And so we ended up with a little container for each of them. And that's even what I have for me. I have just one little box of stuff that I want to remember. And maybe every 10 years you'll look at it, right? So are those even useful? But so it doesn't mean you have to get rid of everything, but
No,
identifying why you're holding on to something really is key. And really, the less, the better in most cases.
but you kept in a small box,
Yeah,
not an entire room. Just a
exactly.
small box, a little memory box.
Yeah, exactly.
You can even make a shadow box of just
Mm-hmm,
small items, certain items that you want to keep. Like I kept, when my dad passed away, he wore Hawaiian shirts. That was his
mm-hmm,
thing. I
mm-hmm.
have one of his Hawaiian shirts, but that's the only thing I have. So, I mean, that's one thing.
Right.
But that one thing represents my
What
dad
you want to
and all
remember.
the memories
Mm-hmm.
that we had together.
Exactly.
And the other thing about clutter is it can become an emotional armor, especially if we've experienced loss, lots of loss,
Yes.
lots of major life transitions and trauma. And it gives us a false sense of control if we keep the stuff. What and who clutter affects the most? And if you're a busy professional or an entrepreneur, we don't have time, especially if you're like a solopreneur like I am. I do everything in my business. I don't
Mm.
have time to mess around with clutter because it takes my focus away from my business and things that I can be doing to help my clients, not only to make money, but to help my clients. And having a clean, energetic space when they walk into my office, because I do see people in person, I see them go, oh, and they can tell me their burdens without being burdened by my stuff. People who are going through life transitions. I just had a client yesterday whose mother passed away last week and whose dad is ill. So she is now having to go through her stuff, her parents' stuff, and take care of her dad and plan a funeral. And it's traumatizing. And I know how traumatized I was by going through my mom's hoarding and getting rid of that. And if you're retired, who wants to spend your retirement cleaning out your stuff? People who, like me, who are empathic and people who are highly sensitive, and we can be deeply affected by our environment. Even
Yeah.
small messes can feel emotionally draining.
Yes.
and traumatic. And if you have ADHD or any type of anxiety, having clutter will just amplify that. And I like the example of it'll just snowball. You walk into
Yes,
a
does.
cluttered environment and you're like, oh, you're a little bit anxious. And then that it's like it rises and rises until you're in a full-blown panic attack, which wouldn't have happened if you were able to get rid of your stuff. And it does create a loop of anxiety and that mental stuff of, oh my gosh, this is too overwhelming. And then where do you go from there? You just go downhill. So
Yeah.
Susan, bottom line it for us.
It is rarely about laziness. It's really
Yep.
emotions that haven't been processed and
Yep.
the items that have become a symbol for those emotions.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you begin to clear that physical space, you are clearing the emotional space. And we want to jump into a meditation here really quick, just to help for release some of those clutter related beliefs. So we're going to do that with you first, and then we're going to give you a number of different techniques to be able to do the decluttering process. So we're about halfway through, so we'll get on to this. So this is again designed to help you just gently shift those unsupported beliefs and thoughts around clutter. So just take a moment, find a comfortable position, and just gaze your eyes down, close them. Again, only if it's safe and comfortable for you to do. And just take a deep breath in through your nose, hold, and exhale slowly through your mouth, allowing yourself to relax with each breath. And we'll just do one more of those in through your nose, hold, and out through your mouth. When you're doing this on your own, if you want to just have more breath to just get yourself relaxed, definitely do that. We're just going to go through different these different beliefs and emotions and just give you a way to start to let them release and shift. And we're going to start here with guilt. So bring to mind an item that you maybe feel guilty about discarding. And we're going to acknowledge the sentiment behind this gift. And that's already within you. Sense the feeling of that gift. It's already there. And so as you breathe in, just imagine acceptance flowing in. And with each exhale, just allow that any guilt can just flow out. Remind you that it's okay to let go and have those thoughts and that sentiment of the gift, that item still with you. Accepting it as you breathe in. And with each exhale, releasing that guilt. Reminding yourself it's okay to let go. Now we're just going to focus on fear for a moment. Think of an item that you're holding on to, just in case I might need it, for whatever reason. Breathe in deeply and visualize yourself feeling safe, supported, allowing trust to fill you with the inhale. And as you exhale, letting go of the fear of the need of that item. Breathing in that safety and support and trust. Letting go of the fear with each exhale. Trusting that what you need will come to you just at the right time. Now we're going to shift your attention to identity. Consider an object tied to your past or a desired self-image. As you breathe in, embrace your true self, the inherent and unwavering, beautiful truth of you. With each breath out, release the notion that possessions define you. You are enough just the way you are. And breathing in, embrace your true self. And breathing out, release the notion that possessions define you. You are enough just the way you are. And finally, we'll just briefly touch on grief. Gently bring to mind something that you are hesitant to release because of its connection to a memory or a person. You inhale, honor that memory with love. And as you exhale, understand that letting go does not mean forgetting. The memory and the love remains a part of you. Breathing in, honor the memory with love. And as you exhale, you're not forgetting, you're letting go. And love and memory of this will remain a part of you. Ah, and just allow yourself to sit in that moment of freedom and clarity. And then open your eyes.
Wow.
May this support you on your journey towards letting go and creating space for new beginnings.
You know what was cool about that is I talked about my Letterman's jacket and I'm like, how would I pass that on? Because I don't live in the same town anymore where my high school was. And as I was energetically letting that go, we have several Facebook groups. One from my year, we have a Facebook group. I could post it in there. And then we have a Facebook group. I know you're from my hometown, and I could post it in there if somebody wants it, and then I could ship it to them. So those two ideas came to me while I was energetically letting that go.
Yeah.
And I could feel the space in my closet.
And your mind and your heart.
Yeah. Yeah. And how nice that felt. So that's cool.
Yeah. And you can always, the thought that came to me was take a picture of those things and
Mm-hmm.
have a little memory picture collage that can be either in a book or a one page or something. And then you don't have to have that physical item. It's you have the memory of it there if you want something a little more of a memory. All right, let's go into some techniques here. The first one that is near and dear to me, and I'll tell you why in a minute, but it's the Marie Kondo method, and she calls it KonMari method. And it allows you to look at the items that spark and see if it sparks joy in your life. So if you take some kind of belonging that you don't know what to do with, some clothes, books, any item that you have, pick it up and ask yourself, does this bring joy to me? If it does, and you'll know it, you can keep it. If not, thank it for its service and let it go. If someone else will be able to enjoy this. So this method is really all about fostering gratitude, mindfulness, and letting joy be the guide for what you do. And I'll just tell you, my oldest daughter has gone through this method for her things. And I had a time where we were cleaning out our closets because we were having new carpet put in our closets. So we had to clear out everything in the closets. And I'm sad to say, I had stuff from college 30 years earlier. And I said, will you come and help me go through this? And so we did this technique and we ended up with 5 huge bags of clothes that were actually just some from college, but a whole bunch from my corporate working life that it's, oh, I might need those again. I might need those again. It's no, it doesn't matter. If I need something down the road, I'll get it. But somebody can use this now. And I donated all these to the YWCA for their women's business programs. And it was just so beneficial for me to be able to do that. But having her walk that through me of being really hardcore about, does this bring me joy or not? It was just so nice that she could help me say, we know that doesn't, put it in the bag. So she would just put it in the bag and I didn't have to think about it anymore and then out the door. So it
She
was
held
just
you
so,
accountable.
yeah, it was such a great way to utilize this method. And that does truly work to be able to assess quickly what to get rid of or keep.
And yeah, I have donated the same thing. I've donated to our women's shelter here in Iowa City where I live, and they were ecstatic to get my business clothes from when I was working retail and had to dress up in a certain way because women who have nothing, who have left traumatic relationships and walked out with just the clothes on their back and want to look for a job, they need to look nice and presentable. And so those clothes, how awesome was that? And how many women were you able to help?
Ah, that
Because
brought me joy knowing that. So much
yes,
more joy.
so much more joy. Same. The
Mhm.
other approach is what I employed. I actually employed both of these that I'm going to talk about. Approach is when I was cleaning out my mother's house is room by room. Just tackle one room at a time. If you look at every single room and go, oh, I don't know how I'm going to do this. But if you take one area of one room and go area by area and focus on just what's in front of you, not everything else, just focus on what's in front of you. And sometimes you have to set a timer. I'm gonna
Mhm.
work on this area for a half an hour or however long it takes. And then I'm gonna move to the next section. And then I just sometimes I went counterclockwise, sometimes I went clockwise, sometimes I started in the middle and moved my way out. But the overwhelm of just taking a room by room approach, so much less,
Mhm.
so much less. And it kept me in the moment. I wasn't thinking about, oh, I'm going to go to the kitchen now. Oh gosh, I've got to clean out a freezer that my mom hasn't touched in years, or things like that. It just kept me in the moment. And then what that also helped me do is this is called the 4 box method, and it's very straightforward and it's very similar to the KonMari method in, do I want to keep it? Do I want to toss it? Do I want to donate it? Do I want to sell it? And for us, I did have some help. My sister and my brother did help clean out my mom's stuff, and everything that we wanted to sell went into the garage. And we had this huge garage sale. And one of the cool things about it is my mom was an artist, so she had paints and all sorts of paints and a tackle box full of brushes and things like that. I'm an artist too, but I work in a different medium. I work in watercolors where my mom worked in acrylics. And oh gosh, I still love this memory. We had this young, probably now, my mom passed away in 2009. And in 2010, we had the garage sale. And he was probably in his early 20s then, just totally in love with his girlfriend. And he walked up and he said, can I buy the whole thing? All of mom's paints, all of mom's brushes, her easel. And we gave him a steal. And we're like, why are you buying this? And my girlfriend wants to learn how to paint and I love her and this is perfect. So that was a gift that he could give the person he loved. And that also continued the love of art that my mom had. How cool is that? How cool is that? So we just decided the things that we were going to throw away, the things that we were going to keep, the things that we were going to donate, and the things that we were going to sell and put them in a box. We had
Perfect.
lots of boxes, but
Oh yeah, no, it's worth it. That's how we do a lot of our, yeah, as well. It's a perfect way to do it. So I'll
yeah,
just
and
add a real quick, oh, go
there's so many places, there's so many charities out there that will take dressers, that will take beds, that will
ahead.
take all sorts of stuff that need it for people who lost everything
Yes,
or
yes.
starting over. So just look that up on the internet in your area. And yes, Goodwill will take it. Salvation Army will take it. We have a Mennonite charity called Crowded Closet, and their church sells things at an incredible discount. And then they do their ministry in the area by people purchasing. And they also help people who are just starting over. So you don't necessarily have to just donate to the major corporations. There are lots of charities who want this stuff.
Yeah, I had one last technique, and I've been doing this with another gal, but accountability thing is you can do it two ways. Set a timer for 15 minutes and decide I'm going to clean out this drawer or this closet. I'm just going to do for 15 minutes. And you can do a 30 minutes or an hour if you want, but the 15-minute thing keeps its, oh, you can do anything. 15 minutes, that's not long. So it gets your mind saying, I can do this. And you can, you typically get way more done than you think of just, it gives you a quick, okay, yep, I don't need this. It's a quick way to say yes or no, is this joy or not, really fast. And it's, oh, okay, that one's done. And then you can go another day and set that 15-minute timer, or even an hour later, however you want to do it. But just allowing yourself to reduce things much quicker, like a goal and a time limit allows that to happen.
Yeah, but you don't have to do just one approach either. You can combine these approaches, whatever works
Exactly.
best for you. Whatever works best for you. So, what do we do with the stuff that we put in a pile?
Go back to your keep pile. And basically, there's a set of questions that you can ask. And so there are 5 questions, and I'll say them fairly quickly, but if you want to stop and relook at them. But again, what we talked about, does this item bring me joy or add value to my life? Does this item bring me joy or add value to my life? And then just to consider what kind of happiness it brings, what's functional for you that enhances your life. Okay, the next one is, have I used or appreciated this item in the past year? So it's reflecting on its utility, its presence in your life, and how it has relevance with your life right now. Might have in the past, but have I used this or appreciated it in the last year? And so again, with all these keep things, they may move out from the keep into one of those other boxes. The next one is, would I miss this item if I were gone? So imagine your life without that item and assess whether its absence would affect you significantly or not. And then, is this item a true reflection of who I am today or who I aspire to be? We talked about this earlier, that identity. Does this align with the current identity and your future aspirations? Not, it really is something that should go. And then, does this item hold a genuine sentimental value, or am I keeping it out of obligation or guilt? We definitely talked about that quite a bit. So, in just 5 questions, it's sometimes easier for us to manage what to do or how to handle things if you can ask a few questions that really allow you to assess whether or not to keep an item or not. Okay, we've got about 3 or 4 minutes, so let's go through this checklist really quick if we could, Jennifer.
Yeah, first thing, set your intention. Why are you decluttering? That's it. Why are you decluttering? What's the second one?
Sorting it into 4 categories. Again, that's got that Marie Kondo thing of, does it bring you joy? It's a number of the ones we talked about. So your 4 piles again are keep, donate. Again, those things that are in good condition are no longer used, or definitely they can be thrown away too, which
Mhm.
is the trash recycle, the next one, broken, expired, unnecessary papers. Receipts fall into that area. There are so many people that need to keep receipts forever, and sometimes you don't even have to keep receipts at all anymore. There are certain things, maybe bigger items, but keeping receipts for even months or a year, there's very few you have to take so or keep. And again, retrashing, recycling those is a great thing. And then the last one is relocated, which is funny, but items that belong somewhere else than where they are. You might have them in one room, something that you don't need in that room. Somewhere else, maybe it's somewhere else that would more be a more usable space.
And you'd be surprised at what different types of charities there are. And we've talked about this, and I'm just going to give you an example. My mom and my stepdad were in their youth were bowlers, and they kept their bowling balls. And we actually had a couple ask if we would donate their bowling balls to a bowling ball charity. And I'm like, what the heck is a bowling ball charity? And it was for they encouraged young kids who were at risk to take up bowling as a way of staying out of trouble. And for those
Awesome.
kids couldn't afford it, of a bowling ball. Yeah, there it goes. Actually 4 bowling balls were able to help at-risk kids. How cool is
Awesome.
that? So you
So
never
good.
know what charities are out there. The
Right.
next one is quick declutter by area. So this is your entryway, your kitchen counter. Start some, as I said before, start somewhere and
Mhm.
go area by area. And you would be surprised if you just do that, how fast and make quick decisions, how
Mhm.
fast you can move through your clutter. The other thing is your office, and this is where it
Mhm.
gets me, is because my desk has always been a mess. And keep your desk clean. And it's a struggle for me. As I said, I have thousands and now thousands of file folders and bookshelves. And I have a funny story about the bookshelves. My husband has thousands of books. And I said, okay, you're going to fill this box of books you no longer want. And I came
Mhm.
back 2 hours later and there were 3 books in it. This big, huge box. And I said, I'm like, no, we're going to fill the box.
That's
And
why those accountability things are helpful. So maybe I'll help you with your desk. You can help me with my desk. And
yes,
we can do those together because sometimes it's hard to do those things on your own.
yep. And what's the next one?
Just last year is it's a reset and maintain. So you can put the keep item back where neatly where you want to have them. Schedule a quick 10-minute tidy up each week once you have kind of things in order. And then just every few months, revisit and refresh so that you don't start building up again. All right. Jennifer.
Oh, this is me. Oh, just our highlights. Once you clear the clutter, you're going to notice the energy in your house or in your office has changed. And then you can look back at episode 9, which is clearing spaces,
Okay, yeah.
and you can learn how to bring in positive, wonderful, sweet energy into the space. And your receipts, as Susan said,
We already
it's
talked
not
about that.
necessary to
Yeah.
keep everything. My parents kept receipts from 50 years ago. You only need to keep receipts for tax purposes, really tax purposes, and talk to your bookkeeper or accountant or whoever files your taxes to tell you which ones to keep, because you can keep receipts, you can keep them. It's just more stagnant energy.
Pick one of these items or one of these processes that we suggested today and truly make a stab at clearing some clutter this week. You will not regret it. In fact, you will actually be relieved and thrilled to have done it. And yeah, drop us a line or a comment about what you've noticed by doing that. And we are excited to have shared this with you today. And we'll see you next week.
And drop us comments in the chat. And yeah, we'd love to hear success stories.
Perfect. All right. Have a beautiful week.
Hi everyone.
Bye.